Let's build Gate Guardian! And welcome back to Let's Build, Yu-Gi-Oh's most mysterious deck building show. I'm Hardleg Joe, if you didn't know, joined as always by Twitch Chat. Twitch Chat, how you doing today? You having a nice night? You here to enjoy things? Look at them, they're so adorable with their little cats and everything, so polite. I have such a great chat. And today we're looking at Gate Guardians, probably the only retro set of cards that hasn't gotten any new support until now. They've taken the old cards, Kazijin, Suijin, Sangha the Thunder, and even the Gate Guardian itself, and added a whole bunch of anime-themed cards along with a suite of fusions to hopefully bring it up to the modern game. I'm kind of doubtful, but I mean, I guess we'll see. We're gonna find out together. Because as I said, this is a blind deck building show, which means I'm not gonna give you the best Gate Guardian list. Instead, this is going to be an introduction to Gate Guardian. We're gonna be sitting down and reading over all these cards and trying to figure out how they work, trying to see if we can build the deck using nothing but a little know-how and several years of Yu-Gi-Oh experience. So if you're new to deck building or new to the archetype, this should be a pretty good primer. And if you already know how the cards work, well, I mean, I'm here. I might be funny. Twitch might be funny. You know, there's a chance you could stick around. Before we get into that, though, I do want to give a special thanks to this episode's sponsor, Dude Blade X, who donated on Patreon to request this episode. It's thanks to generous people like them that I don't have to take actual sponsors for like Raid or Skillshare or whatever. You just get cool Patreon people. And you know, if you want to be one of them, consider joining the Patreon. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so if you're a fan of this series, and hopefully the people watching on Twitch are, you know that whenever you're going to learn a new archetype, there's always one place to start. Chat, you want to tell them where we're starting today? I'll wait. It's the field spell, Mr. Leg. Garlic bread! Sponsored by Rad Shadol Legends. Some of those are correct! The field spell! Ironically, I believe in the actual anime, the whole thing was based around a field spell, which was Labyrinth Wall. But Labyrinth Wall already exists as a card. I think Wall Shadow already exists as a card, but Labyrinth Wall Shadow is a completely new card that meshes a bunch of stuff together, and it just so happens to be the field. And its text states, monsters cannot attack the turn they are summoned, except monsters whose original level is 5 or higher. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can place one of your Sangha the Thunder, Kazijin, or Suijin that is banished or in your hand or deck, face up in your spell trap zone as a continuous spell. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can target one monster your opponent controls with less than 1600 attack and destroy it. Alright, a lot to unpack here. First of all, we've got two quasi-floodgatey kind of effects. One is monsters can't attack the turn they're summoned unless their level is 5 or higher. So, Lynx and Ixies that don't have a level, they can't attack. Low-level monsters can't attack. If you're fighting a Synchro or a Fusion deck, fuck you, you're gonna be screwed. You're gonna be in a little bit of trouble. That third effect doesn't seem particularly useful either. I'm not sure how often your opponent is gonna leave monsters with 1600 or less attack on the field, especially if they know this is there. But you know, someone might walk into it. It feels more like a reference to the anime. I guess the Wall Shadow like destroyed something. I don't know, I don't remember the anime very well. Either way, I think we can safely ignore the first and third effects on here. Those are nice additional bonuses, but they aren't the real meat and potatoes of what this archetype is trying to do. The important thing is that middle effect. Being able to place the Gate Guardian pieces in your spell trap zone as continuous spells. Now, most notably, it just names these three and not the Gate Guardian, which is why I put this down here. And so far, I mean, my memory's a little shaky. I don't think these have effects that help them when they're continuous spell traps. But let's go ahead, let's read this real quick, just to be sure, just to refresh ourselves on the old Gate Guardian monsters. Once, while face up on the field, not once per turn, just once, ever. During damage calculation, in your opponent's turn, if this card was being attacked, you could target the attacking monster and make its attack 0 during damage calculation only. So it's kind of like a reverse honest effect. They attack, they become 0, But of course, they'd have to be pretty stupid to attack into one of these things when you could just use their effect. And yeah, all three of their effects are exactly the same. They just have slightly different stats, but the Gate Guardians are essentially just a deterrent to attacking. So why are you going to put them face up as continuous spell cards? I don't know exactly, but if I had to guess, it probably has something to do with all these boss monsters they've got down here. They've got a whole bunch of extra deck fusions, and as I often say, once you've exhausted the field spell, the next place to go is the boss monsters. Got 3 level 9s, which appear to be different combinations of the 3 Gate Guardian pieces, and then all 3 of them, Gate Guardians combined. So let's go ahead and start with the Guardians combined. Alright, so this is a warrior, level 12, with 3750 attack, which if I'm not mistaken is the attack of the original Gate Guardian, so I like the theming there. And it's a fusion of all 3 of the Gate Guardians. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards from your hand, field, and or graveyard. Alright, that makes sense. It doesn't say they have to be monsters on the field. It's these cards from any of those 3 places. So if you set it on the field as a continuous spell card, you can use it as fusion material to summon this thing. That's very interesting now that I think about it. I mean, I guess they could have made a field spell that summoned them out of the deck, but then a lot of other decks would splash that in just as a way to get a free monster on board for a summon. By putting it as a continuous spell card, you kind of ensure that they can only be used if you're trying to summon out this. If you're not, there's not a whole lot of decks that can take advantage of the fact that they have a monster as a continuous spell that doesn't do anything, except maybe Valence. You could get the Valence field spells and summon it that way if you wanted to play 3 field spells in one deck. Anyway, let's see what this thing does when you actually summon it. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets cards you control, quick effect, negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian combined thrice per turn, once for each piece. If this special summoned card and its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 level 11 or lower Gate Guardian monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Interesting, so it floats when it leaves the field from an opponent's card, which chat is telling me includes kaijus. So pretty much any way they get rid of this, you're going to get something. Any Gate Guardian that is level 11 or lower. So you can't just summon another one of these. This is level 12. You can't summon these 3 because they're not Gate Guardian cards. They have their own names. But you can get any of the other fusions out of the extra deck, or you can summon this Bungulus, the old Gate Guardian, which it's worth pointing out doesn't actually have an effect. It just has like summoning conditions. All it does is have a big booty, which I mean might be worth running. You know, you go to battle phase and they like mirror force this and you just summon 3750 anyway. These ones have less attack, so that might be worth it, but I highly doubt it's worth having this huge brick. But honestly, that feels like the only effect that's really worthwhile is that you have a big boss monster that floats. Because stopping a targeting effect is, not great in the modern game. There's certainly some effects that target. Maybe this would be good in a Kashtira format. All of their effects target stuff, although they're gonna overwhelm you even if you can stop it thrice per turn. I don't know. Maybe situational, but I don't think it's worth investing all 3 pieces into this unless you just need 3750 attack or you want that protection in case they got a back row. But we'll see. Let's check out these ones and see what all they do. I guess we'll just start with the one that has the highest attack, Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder. As you might expect, this is a fusion of Suijin and Sangha. You know, the water and the thunder one. It's 2550. So 50 points higher than Suijin and 50 points lower than Sangha. They couldn't like combine their attack or anything. They had to give them the average between their attack. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. Wait a moment. Wait, I don't mean to stop here, but let's go back to this. This banishes the cards from your hand, field, or graveyard. These ones, you must control them. Now, I think that still counts if they're a continuous spell card, but that's a much more difficult summoning condition. So maybe that's what you do, is you make this, and then if they remove it, you float into these, and you don't actually try to summon these because that seems significantly more difficult. Alright, summoning conditions aside, once per chain, quick effect, you can target one monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0 until the end of this turn. You can use this effect of Gate Guardian twice per turn, once for each piece. If this face-up special summoned card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one of your banished Suijin or Sangha. Alright, very interesting. They're keeping up with the extreme floating. No matter how you get rid of these things, they float. Of course, you're not floating into anything all that great, but it's nice to know that, like, once you get this, you don't just get this. This floats into this, and this floats into a 2500 beater that's not going to do a whole lot. Granted, this doesn't do a whole lot, but at least having like a quick effect to turn 2 monsters to 0 attack, that's not awful. You can get in for some damage, you can prevent yourself from being destroyed, you can build up to doing other stuff. So it's not completely awful, but it's not game-winning by any means. I'm curious, are these other ones just the same? Like, do these all just have this effect, but with different amounts of attack? Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind. It's Sangha and Kazijin. It banishes the cards you control. During your main phase, you can add one spell trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Sangha, Kazijin, and Suijin. It's got to mention all 3. If there's a card that just mentions one, fuck you, you can't add that. You can only use this effect once per turn. It's a hard once per turn. If this face-up special summon card leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon Sangha or Kazijin. Alright, so they're not all exactly the same. This effect, though... I mean, we'll have to look at the spell traps. There's 3 of them. I guess if you include the field spell, the trap probably mentions. So there's 4 cards you can search, but it doesn't search on summon, which sucks. That means, like, if this gets destroyed during your opponent's turn and you summon this, it doesn't do anything. You have to wait until your main phase to search the card. But, I mean, it is still a search, so I guess there might be some times when you want to use this. Maybe if you somehow get these 2 on the field and nothing else. It really just, I can't believe it doesn't say your hand, though. It's specifically just the cards you control, so you have to get them on the field somehow. Hopefully some of these other cards do that. Alright, let's check out this third one. Kazijin plus Suijin, you're putting the ball on the crotch. Must be special summoned by banishing the cards once per chain. When your opponent activates a spell trap or effect on the field, quick effect, you can negate this. You can use this effect twice per turn. And then if this leaves the field, you can summon the other pieces. Okay, now that's pretty good, like a spell trap negate. It's on the one with the lowest attack. 2450's not nothing to sneeze at, but 2500 would be better. But okay, so problem I'm seeing immediately is that we don't have a clear win condition. We've got a spell trap negate, we've got a search, we've got make their attack 0, but unless we have a way to like attack enough times for this to do like 8,000 points of damage, we don't have a clear OTK, nor do we have oppressive enough stuff to like build a first turn board. We're gonna completely shut down our opponent. This is what I would call an inherently flawed deck. Even if it summons these things very consistently, unless all the spell traps boost these to like unbelievable power levels, I don't think that's going to be enough. Maybe like if you have this, you can find some way to like make this and mix it with something else, but I'm already kind of dubious. But we'll see. We've still got several more cards. You know, the boss monsters aren't everything. We'll start with the higher attack monster, Labyrinth Heavy Tank, which is not a labyrinth card. It's a different kind of labyrinth. The lovely lady has nothing to do with this. Alright, so it's a level 7 dark machine with 2400 both ways, which means it's Gizmek support. Those are all about machines with the same attack and defense. And I guess as a level 7, you could maybe tech in some Kashtira stuff with this? I don't know, we'll see what the actual effect is. You can normal summon this card without tributing. It cannot attack the turn it's normal summon. During your main phase, you can place one of your Sangha, Kazijin, or Suijin that is banished, or in your hand, or deck, face up in your spell trap zone as a continuous spell. Then, if you control a Labyrinth Wall card, You can destroy one monster your opponent controls. You can only use this once per turn. Alright, not bad at all, and that's why this is called Labyrinth Wall Shadow. Do we have any other Labyrinth Wall cards? No, it's just this and the actual Labyrinth Wall. But you know, something that synergizes with the field spell is not bad. If you're going second, it's nice that it gives you a free pop, and it does set things up. Let's go ahead and put 3 of these in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and put 3 of the field spell as well. We already know that you want to summon these, and having the 2 cards that allow you to summon them is probably going to be a good thing. As for their other monster, we have Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. Ooh, it's spooky and clawing at you. This is a level 5 dark zombie with 1600 attack, 1300 defense. You can discard this card, add 1 Labyrinth Wall card from your deck to your hand. At the start of the damage step, if your opponent's monster battles while you control a Labyrinth Wall card, you can banish this from your graveyard, destroy that opponent's monster. You can only use this once per turn. Alright, they're giving us some consistency options. We know we already want to play 3 of the Labyrinth Wall, so we definitely want to play the card that searches the Labyrinth Wall. This is the non-link that searches the field spell. And I guess it also searches Labyrinth Wall. I don't know if we want to ever play the Labyrinth Wall. Maybe you could tribute it. Maybe the trap does something. But, you know, it's an option. You could search it if you want. I'm gonna laugh when later on there's some sort of like Earth Rock deck or something that uses this, and people start playing this in order to search it. You know, I will say it's also hilarious that they specifically put in this restriction to stop like anything attacking if it didn't have a high enough level, and then gave you a high level monster that has that same restriction. Would this really be broken if it could attack the same turn it was normal summoned? That just doesn't seem very fair to a deck that's already going to struggle with stuff. Time to look at the spell cards. And we'll start with Ryoku Guardian, which is a retrain of an old spell that I didn't even know had anything to do with this deck. Alright, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, target 1 monster you control with Gate Guardian in its original name, have your opponent's life points, then that monster gains attack equal to your opponent's life points. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 of your Sanga, Kazijin, or Suijin that is banished or in your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Well, you know, I had asked if they have a way to OTK, and this is a way to OTK. You know, if you have their life points and then gain that many and then have a monster that can lower their monster's attack to 0, bada bingo, bada bango, there's your OTK. The only problem is your life points must be lower than the opponent's, and so far we don't have a way to get that. We do have a way to search this, but summoning this is not easy, and then if you want to get that OTK, you're most likely going to have to summon something else as well. But I mean, this is worth playing if nothing else for the way it closes out games. It's just a question of if you want to play this at 3 or not. I think for now I'm going to play the 2 other copies in the side deck. Maybe after testing we'll want to play 3, maybe we'll just want to keep it at 1, maybe we'll take them out entirely because it won't be useful, but it's at least worth trying out to see if we can do anything. And we'll have to start thinking about tech cards already. If there's some way that we can lower our life points, some other effect, I don't know, maybe punks are an option, those lower your life points. A hero emerges, I think I've seen people using that in Gate Guardians. You could get like Prisma and its name becomes that. A hero emerges takes half your life points. Very steep, but that might work. Oh, chat's pointing out that it's a hero lives, not a hero emerges. Those are 2 different cards. Very different, but I know there's a hero card that pays half your life points to summon a hero. Anyway, let's go ahead to our next card. Double Attack! Wind and Thunder! It's a quick play spell. Ooh, is that a mouth? Was that a mouth the whole time? Kazijin, buddy, you got those cheeks. He's just doing one of those like. As for what this actually does, if you control a Gate Guardian monster, target 1 card on the field and destroy it. During your main phase, you can banish this from your graveyard, add a Sanga, Kazijin, or Suijin from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 double attack, Wind or Thunder. Wow. It's not very often that I see a modern card that's just like this bad. Like, we have 1 way to search this, It's a slow effect during the main phase, and all it does is target and destroy one card. Why does this target? I guess it's a quick effect, but like, if you wanted to target and destroy a card, there's so many better ways you could do that. I don't know, I'm tempted to just like put this into like, don't even bother territory. All right, and that just brings us to the last card, a trap card, a continuous trap card, called Prey of the Jirai Gumo. Special summon this card as a normal monster, Earth Insect, level 5, 2100 attack, to your main monster zone in its same column. This card is also still a trap. Then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls in this card's column. Banish this card from your graveyard, add one Sanga, Kazijin, or Suijin. Well, I mean, they've got a card that, you know, doesn't target, still destroys. It only destroys a card in its column, which as a trap card means you have to play it in that column and hope your opponent plays into that. And then other than that, it's a 2100 that for some reason is still counted as a trap card, so they could just destroy it with like MST and stuff. If it could summon into any column, it might be decent, but you have to summon it into the column that it was set into, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I think we're not going to include that one either. Unless there's some way, I mean, I guess it does search the cards, but if you just want something that searches the cards, I mean, this does the thing just as well. Like, if you want to play cards that you can discard, or stuff that you could send to the graveyard with, like, Foolish Burial Goods, I would rather just play 3 of Rairoku and not even bother with the other ones. Alright, so that's everything. And it doesn't look good. Our only control options going first are we can negate 3 things that target and float into a spell trap negate. We could at best maybe make both of these. That seems like a really tall ask. And then we've got this OTK thing, which requires us to have stuff like this pops a card on summon. I think a lot of this is geared around going second. So we probably want to make a go second build, and it looks like we're gonna have to play all 3 of these fuckers. I'm not playing the Gate Guardian or the Labyrinth Wall. Altogether, we have 15 cards, so not very big of a deck. So we need to think of a whole bunch of going second staples and other stuff that we could combine this with that might help us going second. Chat is asking if they can make suggestions. So even though obviously if you're building the deck, you won't have chat suggestions, I am going to rely on chat suggestions, see what they have. If you're building this in real life, consult a guide, consult the internet. Go online, check like Wikipedia, see if they have any suggestions. This is not really a good first time deck. If you are getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, I would not recommend starting with this because it is a flawed deck that is not going to be able to compete in the modern arena. At best, it might be an engine in another bigger deck. I'm still gonna try to build it pure just to see what I can do with it, but I would not recommend trying to do that because I don't think it'll work very well. Okay, so actually, real quick, before we start building decks, I just noticed there are some other cards here that aren't in Master Duel yet. If you hadn't figured it out by now, I do play and build for the Master Duel format, and it appears there are 2 OCG cards that are coming out soon, and I'm very curious if these do anything to salvage the deck. So while we're here, let's go ahead and check this out. They've got a new spell, Dark Element. If you have a Gate Guardian monster in your graveyard, pay half your life points, special summon 1 level 11 or higher Gate Guardian monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can banish this card from your graveyard and then add one of the pieces from the banisher in your deck to your hand. Interesting. So they basically just said if you manage to summon this, or more likely use something that dumps an extra deck monster into the graveyard, you can just pay half your life points and summon one. I mean, it helps with the OTK. I'd probably play it in the build that I'm designing, but that makes it really one track. You're starting to get to a point where you're assembling a combo where you want to dump a card, then add this, then add the Ryoku, and then attack for gain. So it's at least something, but half your life points. Oof. I mean, I guess at least it lowers your life points so you can use the other stuff. All right, and what's this other card? The Dark Guardian. This card is always treated as a Gate Guardian card. Cannot be normal summoned or set, which doesn't matter because most of the stuff summons with ignoring summoning conditions. Must be special summoned with Dark Element or from your hand or graveyard by shuffling all of the pieces into the deck from among the cards that are on the field, in your hand, in your graveyard, or face up banished. Cannot be destroyed by battle. This card special summoned with Dark Element is unaffected by other monsters' effects and your opponent's spell effects. That's very silly. Why would you make a monster with 3,800 attack that can't be destroyed by battle? What is attacking this by, I guess, Avramax? And then immune to other monsters' effects and your opponent's spell effects, but not your spell effects. Target one monster with Gate Guardian in its original name. So this doesn't work with Dark Guardian? I don't know how this interaction works. Its original name is Dark Guardian, and its effect just says it's always treated as a Gate Guardian. So does that override the fact that this is not its original name? Does that make its original name Gate Guardian? Serenity in chat says that it does, so I'm gonna trust that it does. If so, that's pretty decent. You can maybe like get a combined and this on the field. You're kind of reliant on your opponent to do something, but, you know, getting something like this and then being able to negate all the targeted stuff, or more likely, negate any traps when it's already unaffected by spells and monsters, and then OTK, it becomes a very basic and predictable combo. But I mean, that's a win condition. They at least got something. Unfortunately, cannot use those this time, but it's good to know that, you know, they have options to improve it ever so slightly. Alright, so as for filling out the deck, I wanted to start right away by just putting in the Maxi tax. I often say in these, I don't want to play this in every deck if I can help it, but if any deck needs Maxi, it's fucking Gate Guardian. You know, this needs all the help it can get. If you can play the best card in the game, you absolutely need to be doing it because it's the only way this deck can survive. Now that being said, you're not all that susceptible to Maxi yourself. A lot of these cards are just like putting stuff in the back row, so then you can use them for one big summon. You're maybe going to give them 2-3 cards at most if they have ways to destroy this, and then also destroy this, so that you're ending on a Kazijin. And if that's the case, you're probably losing even if they don't have Maxi. So you don't really need Ash Blossom. I don't think that that's really going to help all that much. So instead, I would advise playing Droll and Lockbird. This is a lot more effective against a lot more decks, especially in the meta right now. And since you don't search a whole lot yourself, you can even potentially use it on your own turn if they do Maxi you and you do have a whole bunch of other stuff. So I guess we're gonna try that instead of Ash. And then I'm honestly not sure if I should play like Called by the Grave, because I mean, what are they gonna do? I guess they could Ash the search from Shadow Ghoul. That might kind of suck, but you're just as likely to open with Wall Shadow as you are to open with the Shadow Ghoul. And I mean, anything else, like what are they gonna do with Valor? Valor doesn't do anything. Ghost Spell doesn't do anything. I guess Ghost Ogre, maybe. I'll put it in the side deck. If you find that you need it, you can play it, but you probably don't need to stop hand traps all that much. I think you're much more worried about board breakers. Honestly, I'm not even sure if you need the Drollin Lock. It might be better just to run something like Imperm instead. Alright, so after that, I wanted to focus on how we could get to the Gate Guardian as quickly as possible. Our goal should be to make this while also somehow lowering our life points so that we can use Ryoku in order to OTK. And as I stated earlier, probably the best way is with a Hero Lives. You control no monsters, pay half your life points, special summon a level 4 or lower elemental hero from your deck. So we pay 4,000 and we're gonna get Elemental Hero Prisma. This allows you to reveal a fusion from your extra deck, send one of the materials whose name is listed on it from the deck to the graveyard, and then this name becomes the name until the end phase. So it puts a monster into the graveyard, which you can use to get the Guardians combined, fine. But even if you can only get to that and like a labyrinth, because this name is on the field, I believe you can still special summon this. Yeah, it's just by banishing the cards you control. It doesn't have to be their original name. So like this will become Suijin, and then if you can put Sangha on the field, this counts. I'd almost play this at 3, except we really need to draw cards in order to get into everything, because a lot of our stuff is not as searchable as we would like. So we're playing a draw engine of Chicken Game, which if you don't know is mostly just pay 1,000, draw a card, and then also Magician Souls. This lets you send up to 2 spell traps from your hand or field to the graveyard to draw that many cards. And you can special summon this onto the field by sending a level 6 or higher spellcaster from your deck to the graveyard. So you can summon this by sending Kazijin, who just happens to be a spellcaster, that puts it in the graveyard for Gate Guardians combined, and then you can send off your Chicken Game so that you can OTK, you can send off other copies of A Hero Lives or other spells in order to get stuff, other Wall Shadows, Ryuku Guardians, which means even adding off of this, if you already have one, it's not completely dead. You're going to be just deep drawing even more. And perhaps most importantly, because Wall Shadow puts these cards onto the field as continuous spells, and because you can still summon the Gate Guardian by using cards in the graveyard, you can send them off to get like double value off of them. They're there, they draw you a card, and then even in the graveyard, they can still be used as material. And because of that, we want to play light on monsters. We want to play as many spells as we can. So that's why I put Prisma down to 2. It's why we're also playing Fusion Deployment. This is just reveal a fusion monster and summon one of the materials from the deck, so you can just get any of these out. But also, I've decided we probably don't even want the Drollin Lockbird. I think for a blind second deck like this that is already going to be gimmicky as hell, we need to focus on go second staples, so I think we should go ahead and try Lightning Storm. This is a good spell to either clear the field or just bait out a negation that can also be sent off of something like Magician Souls to just draw us more cards. And then, you know, if we're already playing a whole bunch of UR spells that help us go second, that we can discard off of this potentially, we might as well just go ahead and throw in Tactics. We'll get the 1 Tactics talent, we'll get the 3 Tactics thrust. This can also search the Ryoku Guardian, so you know, we've got some synergy there. And then we got one more card. Someone said Herald of the Abyss. This is already being used as a tech card to take out like the Pearly Noir, because it forces your opponent to send a card, so even things that are unaffected get sent by this. And perhaps most importantly for us, it costs 1,500 life points, so it helps us to OTK more. And then from there, all we have to do is fill up the extra deck, and I think I know exactly how to do it. Whoosha! There we go. We're playing 2 of each of the Gate Guardian pieces, which may be too many, but I like to have backups. And just a couple little tech cards. We've got some level 1 links, Relinquished Anima and Link Karibo. Might be able to use these with Magician Souls for something. And then just a bunch of level 7 Ixies along with Zeus that you can make off of those. These are just something where, like, maybe there's some way you end with, like, a Kazijin or something and you could Big Eyes steal. It's not very likely, but there's a chance you could get 2/7, so we might as well try it. In general, though, I think most of this extra deck is like Cope. It's win more cards. Our big strategy is just to make this and OTK the fuck out of our opponent, and if that fails, you're going to be on the back foot. It's unlikely you're going to be able to recover or do anything, but it's always good to have options. If you don't have the material to craft these, I wouldn't worry too much about this. Either way, we've got a deck built. Let's test this out. I'm going to take it into the test hand feature. If you were watching this whole time and wondering what program I'm using, it's called yugioh Omega, and it has this very useful test hand feature. Go ahead and start this. And we're going to be going up against a very, very simple AI. The whole point of this AI is to just allow you to test cards. Its only thing it has in its deck is like level 1 normal monsters and a bunch of spell traps that are just there, so if your deck requires spells to be on the field or if you have spell trap removal, you can test that out. This is the initial, like, test. If we can beat this, then maybe we might be able to take on an actual deck. But let's see if we can do that first. Okay, so to start with, we're gonna use A Hero Lives. Now we've got half our life points and an elemental hero Prisma. Ooh, fancy. Let's go ahead and use that Prisma effect to reveal, I guess, the Gate Guardian, because that has all 3 pieces. And we want to send... Oh, I've got Kazijin in my hand, so I cannot send the Kazijin. I guess we'll just send Sangha of the Thunder. Have a Sangha on the field. Yeah, if we use this, we can get the, let's see, what's the one that searches the Ryoku? Yeah, so I need to get Kazijin. So, yeah, fortunately this can do it from my hand. So I've got those 2 on the field. Let's go for this. Using these 2. Hello, nice to meet you. And then we'll activate that effect. We'll get the Ryoku Guardian. So my life points are lower. Activate this. Target this. Your life points go down to 4,000, and I have 6,500. So, you know, give them the old battle. We'll rattle them bones. There you go. That's how you win. That's the win condition. Now, the big question is, can I do this multiple times? It's not good enough to just do this combo. It's, is it consistent? And how often am I ending with, like, a whole bunch of extra stuff in my hand that I'm not even using? So let's test this out a few more times. Let's see if we can get the OTK again. This might actually be a realistic scenario where you activate Max C and your opponent just normal summons and sets a bunch of back row and passes. Now granted, your opponent's back row will probably do things other than just draw cards. Let's go ahead, Hero lives, yet again. Go Prisma. We already opened with the Ryuku field, so we don't need it. Let's activate the Wall Shadow. Yeah. Wall Shadow of the Labyrinth. Get the Field Spell. Field Spell. Okay, so Field Spell gets us... I think we want to go for the Negate. So we'll go ahead and put Suijin here. We'll activate this. We'll send Kazijin. That allows us to make Mr. Spelltrap negate. Bada bingo. And then we activate this. 4,037. I don't think this, or yeah. Oh wait, what does this do again? This has a graveyard effect. You can destroy that monster. Oh yeah. Okay, so if you've done that, if you have that in the field, why did the battle not go through? Don't tell me this stops the battle! You were in the damage step. Ghouls' damage step, so it stops the attack. Oh. I was just thinking, oh, this is nice synergy. Then it doesn't matter what monster they have. If they just have one, you can destroy it. Well, we still have a negate. I think that would have OTK'd anyway over 400. Anything with 2,400 or less attack would have been OTK. So there's a chance, assuming they didn't set anything. Oh, also, there's the only time you're ever going to see Wall Labyrinth Shadow's third effect activate. So we might have had OTK, but let that be a lesson to you. Just attack into their monster and hope that's enough. Alright, so we got one where we didn't open with a Hero Lives. Let's see if we can do it this way. We're going to start off with the Lightning Storm. Just clear all the spell traps out of here. And sure, we'll just activate Max C so it stops asking us. We can Fusion Deployment. This will allow us to get one of them. We don't want to pick Kazijin. We'll pick Sangha. There you go. There's the boy. We'll go ahead and get Suijin in the Spell Trap Zone. Then we'll activate Magician Souls. We can send the Kazijin to the graveyard and special summon this card. And then we can go ahead and just send the Suijin and the other Lightning Storm in our hand to the graveyard to draw 2. This allows us to get another thing on the field, but we don't have access to Ryoku field, which is unfortunate. So I think all we can do from here is just make the combined. I mean, it's still decent. It's a thing. It does some stuff. Fortunately, we can't do anything with this because we activated the fusion deployment. Maybe if I didn't send that off, I could have programmed it better so that we got the Ryoku field. I was so excited about the draws, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so we failed the OTK, and it's doubtful we would be able to survive from here, but that might be due to my incompetence. Let's try another one. Okay, let's try this again and see if we can not fuck it up this time. Let's go ahead and start with Lightning Storm. Again, just destroy all the spell traps. Pretend this is Labyrinth. Although Labyrinth, if you do that to them, they're still going to take a card out of your hand. Let's go ahead with Prisma. And now we have the ability to search the thing, but we don't need to search the thing. Let's send this. Let's go ahead and activate this. Special summon. Let's draw some cards, shall we? Get you two off there so I can deal some damage. Hey, there's the wall shadow. It's just what I needed. So now we can activate this and get the last piece. And that allows us to make the Gate Guardian. Howdy doody. And then we can do this. Okay, so I think we're fairly set. You know, we seem to be able to get to our plan pretty consistently with all the draw power. The real question is, are we going to be able to do it if they have monsters with more than 400 attack and maybe like traps that like stop us and stuff? So the next thing from here is to try this in some AI duels. We're gonna face against actual decks. They won't be played competently, but, you know, they're on par with, like, the AI decks that they have on Master Duel. So, if you wanted to test there, you'd get a similar experience. Alright, we're gonna go second. We're gonna blind second because we want that card. And we're going up against Sky Striker. This is, like, Sky Striker from a few years ago. I think it's, like, you know, 3 engage and everything. It may or may not have Maxi. They are ending with nothing. Oh, wait. Okay, they get to set some stuff. Gotcha. Alright. Looking nice, looking good. I'm liking the way I'm looking. Let's go ahead and just destroy all the spell traps. Yay, yay me. Go chicken game. Draw me the cards. Go chicken game number 2. Draw me more of the cards. Kazijin, what are you doing here? Alright, we've already got the Ryuku field. We get all 3. This allows us to get all 3. If we fusion deployment and they don't ash it, which it doesn't look like they're doing, Sangha, we can get Suijin, and then all 3 of them just go into the dang old guy, you know? The big guy. The Gatest of Guardians. Howdy, how's it going? OTK card says hello. 7,400? That's a lot when you've only got 4,000 life points. And there you go. Sky Striker ain't shit. You know? Granted, we've got the Lightning Storm. Let's try that again real quick. See if we could do it, well, you know. Once might be a coincidence. Twice is a pattern. Starting off with Engage. Usually you want to activate more stuff first, but I guess they need that to get to that. Okay, this time we don't have Lightning Storm. We're gonna pretend we don't have Lightning Storm. See if we can deal with this without just blowing out all the back row. Because I'm pretty sure we've got it anyway. So let's go ahead and start with the Ghoul. Let's do some ghoulish things. And we've got Ashed. This will get us 1, and this will put the other one in the graveyard, but that doesn't really help us, does it? It does open up Thrust, so we could Thrust and get something. We could also send off the Thrust and the Lightning Storm. Fortunately, this is hard once per turn. Let's try the Heavy Metal Tank and see what... Okay, well that got... That would be something that would be really good to Lightning Storm, if you had it. Triple tack... Yeah, let's Thrust. Let's Thrust and we'll get Talents. Ooh, I could Hero Lives. Okay, let's just get Hero Lives. Not Hero Lives, Triple Tactics. We're gonna draw 2 cards. See what we can get into. Okay. Chicken game. Yeah, let's draw and just hope that we don't get exactly Kazijin. Alright, it's just another chicken game. Let's draw and hope we don't get exactly Kazijin. Alright, that's not exactly Kazijin, but it's not great either. Let's fusion deployment. We need the one that searches, so... Yeah, we get Sangha of the Thunder here. Hello, I am Sangha of the Thunder. Perhaps you've heard of me? And it's stolen. Oh no, its effects are negated. They didn't have 3 in the... Okay, they were good. Go Magician Souls. And then we'll just send off these 2. Draw 2 more cards. And they're things we've already activated. So, we didn't quite get the OTK. You know, through Solemn Judgment. Although, to be fair, we chose not to activate the 1 card that we had that might have been really good. You know, maybe in the real world we replace that with another card and it might do something. If only I had something that stopped me from being targeted, I might be in a good position. It's okay. Max C will save me here. And with this, we could probably easily just get everything, especially since we still have the Sangha here. And we just drew into the... Yeah, so we've got it from here, but realistically, most decks would not have played into it. They would have been able to link stuff. They would have been able to OTK. So I'm just going to count that as a loss. Let's try one more time. This time we're going to go second, and we're legitimately not going to get the Lightning Storm, I swear. Alright, we better not draw Lightning Storm off the top. I want to try... Okay. Okay, we're good. This is a much more usable hand. Let's start with the field spell. Go ahead and put the Sangha right here. Let's try summoning this. And it's been Widow Anchored. Okay. That's perfectly fine. Let's try the fusion deployment. And it's been ashed. Okay, now oh wait, someone told me the Wall Shadow is not a hard once per turn. So if you get 2 of them, you can just do that. Hey, ain't that neat? Let's do these 2. And then we'll add the Ryoku field. My life points aren't lower. That is a problem. Well, I guess we go to the battle phase. The good thing about negating this thing's attack is that, it can attack the turn it's summoned. So there's that. Yeah, if I had known that, I would have summoned maybe the Spell Trap negate might be better, although they have ways of, like, dealing with that. So, yeah, once again, we failed to OTK, although that might have been more on me than anything else. I can't believe there's, like, one rule to this, and I forgot it already. You know, people were telling me to play more Kazijin, so... You know, we'll make a little change, and then we'll try again real quick. Alright, so I resisted doing this at first because I've been playing the Duels deck lately, and that deck is just full of garnets that you don't want to draw. So the prospect of adding 3 more Gate Guardians into this deck was just making me shiver. But you can summon the big one out of the extra deck by using cards in your hand, and being able to have another one that we can send off of Magician Souls, or just another copy of each, so we can perhaps make multiple fusions, might be worth it. So we're gonna try a 43 card monstrosity. The deck's already bad. We might as well go full into the badness and see if that improves it. And also, we're gonna face a different deck. Alright, this time we're going up against the Salamangreat AI, which is not all that great, especially this build, which is again an older version of the deck. But I mean, it's probably better than most of the stuff you would find again in the solo mode of Master Duel. You know, I think the strongest deck you could face there is maybe Plunder Patrol or the Danger deck, and those are not going to put on something as menacing as a counter trap. So this will give us at least one interaction to try to play through and see if we can do it. We've opened with 1 Suijin, and a hero lives, but no way to bait out the back row. I mean, granted, we've got fusion deployment plus a hero lives. Considering that Branded is in the format again, activating something like this might actually bait out a Salamangreat Roar or something similar if they had it. So, you know, there's that. Let's try to see if a hero can live. Go, Prisma! Activate the effect. Yeah, we've got 2 Kazijins. We're fine. Send 1 Kazijin that way. And we've been impermed. Well, Kazijin is in the graveyard. We could Magician Souls, but then we'd lose our 1 spell. There's a shot! We're not locked out of the extra deck, so we could Tribute Summon Suijin. That's neat, you know. Why did they make this so hard? Why couldn't these be graveyard as well? Let's try it. Draw 1 card, alright. Go Chicken Game. Activate, draw 1 card. Alright, Labyrinth Shadow. Let's activate this. Yeah, this will give us all 3. Okay, we've got all 3. We at least made it to the Gate Guardian, so there's something. I guess we could go into this now? Hi there. They try to add something back. Oh, this has to target something I control. But I mean, I can take the Sunlight Wolf. Is this enough to OTK? No? Oh well. We've still got some stuff on board. I'm confident enough in this board that, like, hey, maybe we can actually do something. Let's see. I seemingly can only attack with fusions. Probably something to do with one of these Wall Shadow Field. Oh, yeah, monsters can't attack the turn they're summoned. So, we're in a bad way, but we've got Max C. Let's Max C. Well, fuck me, I guess. Okay, they made Boral Sword, but fortunately, they cannot actually attack with it because of the field spell. Now, unfortunately, they can target my monster and there's just nothing I can do because I can't activate anything in response to that. That being said, we haven't made this one yet. This one reduces a monster's attack to 0, right? And this is the thunder and the water. So we can use this, become the thunder, and use this, get the wind. Oh, this goes from the graveyard too. We probably want to deck thin either way. And then we can make this guy. Hey, how's it going? You might recognize me from such films as the ones where you become 0. Turn me to defense, will ye? And then, because I haven't normal summoned, I can do this. I can get back. Which one has the most attack? Sangha of the Thunder? Check this out. Normal summon Sangha of the Thunder. How do you feel about that? Is that an OTK? Oh, this thing can't be destroyed by battle. But it's still an OTK! 3750 was enough! Alright. So, you know, if they make Boral Sword and not Access Code, which also couldn't be stopped by this, you might have a chance. One more duel to see if we can do anything. Okay, check it out. This is the real Master Duel moment. We open with Max C, Lightning Storm, and Thrust. What more could we want? And I guess also a Sangha of the Thunder? Not the most useful thing, but it exists. Fortunately for us, the AI always plays into Max C. It has no concept of restraint. So, you know, now we get to answer the age-old question. If your opponent gives you everything with Max C, can you win the game? I'm willing to bet the answer is yes. Okay, they've got a lot of back row. They can do many things. Let's see how they respond to this. Alright, we're negated. But what if I activated a second one? Alright, well, they still got that third thing there, but surely that won't stop us completely, right? Let's go ahead and activate this. Sure. Get this. You want a hero lives here? Yeah, because we've got the other 3. That just gives us all 3, but we want to get them on the field so we can search. We didn't get the Ryoku field, so we still need Sangha and Kazijin actually on the field. Go forth, Prisma. Get me the Sangha of the Thunder. And they didn't negate the effect, so that's not an imperm, most likely. And then we need Kazijin, right? Go, Kazijin! Fetch me the tools! Heidi-ho there! Nice to meet you! Allow me to get my search on. And then the rest of these cards just don't matter! We have more than enough cards to do all the things! Oh, they do matter. Our life points are lower, or the same, because they used Solemn Judgment. That's fine! That's why we have Herald of the Abyss! I'll say send a fire... I assume it's a Cyburst, right? Why are these not alphabetical? There we go. Hello, Gazelle. Why are you doing all this stuff? I don't want you to do stuff. Okay, now my life points are lower. I can use this. Hey, there we go. Nice to meet you. Attack for 45. No, I don't want to use that effect. It'll stop it. There we go. We OTK'd Salads, and all we had to do was Max C for their life points. Alright, so there you go. We were able to make Gate Guardian work just barely. There's still not really feeling all that confident about this. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I mean, there's almost certainly something I'm missing. But you know, this is the point where if you haven't yet looked at like other deck lists online, see what other duelists are talking about, that's when you leverage the Yu-Gi-Oh community. That's when you go looking to see if anyone else has found something you haven't found. There's no shame in doing that. Although I do still think it's good to sit down and actually look over the cards so you know what they do, and that way when you see these deck profiles that are talking about combos, you understand. You've been there, you've tested before, you know how everything works. So when they start adding in other techs, it's like, oh, the light bulb just clicks on. Personally, I find this series to be really helpful for me personally, which is why I'll probably still keep making these even though the views aren't great. But if you like this, please let me know down in the comments. Give us a like, maybe subscribe. I'll give my thanks once more to chat for helping me out and staying up so late. Y'all, I very much appreciate. I tip my hat to you. Otherwise, I'm heading out for now. So until next time, good luck and have fun.